tell you something about Andrew. This is my boy right here. You disrespect him, you're disrespecting me.
Inside fighting. Shout out to Inside Fighting.
We are back. It is the Fight Season Podcast. It's me, Jesse Rowe, with Inside Fighting, joined as always by Timothy James, a.k.a. Timmy Shoes. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be back.
Absolutely. We're coming off an incredible weekend of fights. UFC 295 at Madison Square Garden. What an incredible weekend. Every fight ended in a finish on the main card. Just absolutely spectacular. One of my favorite cards of the year. We're going to get into that. But first, before we go anywhere, we got to pay the bills. So a quick little shout out to our friends over at DraftKings.
You know what they say, the best fighters make the best football players, and the NFL season is heating up, and we've partnered with our friends over at DraftKings.
That's right. DraftKings is an official partner of the NFL to get you closer to all the action, and right now, new customers who bet just $5 get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's $5, $150 in bonus bets instantly. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook now, sign up using promo code INSIDEFIGHTING, and the crown is yours, my friends.
Sick.
Put that crown on. If you've already signed up for DraftKings like me, like Cap, you can get a no-sweat bet, meaning you get a bonus bet back if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. That's incredible. You get your bonus bet back if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. I'm taking that offer. And if you're a fan of multiple teams and you want to bet on them all, combine multiple bets together for a shot at an even bigger payout.
And if sports betting is not available in your state, worry not. Get in on the action. Don't miss any of the fun on daily fantasy sports over on the DraftKings app.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers who use promo code INSIDEFIGHTING, bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code INSIDEFIGHTING at DraftKings. The crown is yours.
The DraftKings Sportsbook app. Let's go.
Facts. I do want to touch on the star of the night, Alex Pereira, man. Unbelievable what this guy has done and how far he's elevated himself in the UFC in such a short amount of time. Kind of interesting how him and Jiri's career have sort of like had similarities, how quickly they were, sort of streamlined to title shots. But I mean, becoming a 2-division champion is unbelievable. I actually thought Jiri, I wanted to get this across. I thought Jiri looked great, to be honest. I really did. I thought Jiri looked good. Yeah, I mean, he does Jiri things where he throws himself into the fire a little bit too much, but I think that's normal. I think you and I predicted it perfectly. We knew exactly how this fight was going to go down. Jiri was going to have to clip him earlier. He was screwed.
I did predict it perfectly. I
know.
The crazy plus 4,000 bet that actually hit. I should have just done that. I was stupid and put it in a parlay.
You put it in a parlay. If you bet just $10 on that, bro, you would have had like $400.
For the people who didn't catch it on insider betting, I made a crazy parlay, but the plus 4,000, it was a 2-leg parlay. The plus 4,000 on that 2-leg parlay was Alex Pereira to win by knockout in the last minute of the second round, between the 4-minute mark and the end of the round. And that's exactly what happened. So
it was crazy. But I also made a bet that Aspinall on the money line. I should have bet him by knockout. I was just too much of a pussy to bet both of them by knockout. So I put Aspinall on the money line because I really did believe Aspinall was going to win. I had a feeling about it, but I knew Pereira was going to knock out Jiri. It just kind of felt like that was what was going to happen. And, I thought that it was not an early stoppage. I don't even think we really need to get into that. Jiri even said that he was basically out. If you look at the replay, Jiri's arm goes limp at the final point, on the last elbow strike. His arm goes limp and then he falls back. And I think so that's when Mark Goddard called the fight. So I think he was like out for a couple seconds. I think it was totally correct. It looked early at first. Like I was texting you and I'm like, this is bullshit. And then I kind of looked at it a little more and I think I changed my mind on it.
That pretty much sums it up. In real time, live at first, I was like, wow, that was an early stoppage.
Yeah.
But then, they replayed it a few times, and then Jiri said after, like, at this point, we don't really need to talk about it. Once the fighter says, it was a good stoppage, and it's the guy who lost, then it's a good stoppage.
So there's two things I want to talk about here. First is let's get into the fact that Jamahal Hill was sitting octagon side expecting his name to be called to go up and do a face-off with Alex Pereira. That does not happen. Alex Pereira decides to call out, well, to lay groundwork. Obviously, Jamahal Hill vacated his title as soon as that fight started on Saturday night. So that's when his title was officially vacated. But he is next for the title shot, right? But Pereira decides to call out Israel Adesanya.
Hey, Adesanya, come true, daddy. You talking about Israel Adesanya?
Who's sitting out for the next year or whatever it is. He's on the couch, literally on the couch at home watching it in New Zealand.
He said he's out until 2027. So.
I watched that interview. That was in jest. It sounded like a joke when he said it. People are referencing that too much. He was like, no, 2027, man. And he walks away. I think it was like a joke. I don't think he was serious about that. But that being said, do you think that fight happens? Because I wonder about it, just because like that's you pointed it out that like the UFC would they'd put the money down on that. If that fight was possible, they would absolutely throw the bank at Izzy to get him off the couch. And he would absolutely, even if Jamahal Hill was healthy, sorry, Jamal, I have a feeling that fight would, it would cut you. It would cut your next fight off a little bit,
It depends on a few things, but I say absolutely that fight can happen. Here's why. How long is Jamahal Hill going to be out? It might take a while. Did he give a timeline for when he's back on his injury?
I think June, because it's an Achilles. It's like June, July, probably. We got the Achilles like sometime in a few months ago. So that puts it at like a year timeline is generally what Achilles injuries are, 10 to 12 months.
Okay, so he's going to be out for a while. If Pereira wants to fight again, if Adesanya wants to fight, listen, Pereira versus Adesanya is going to sell. And Adesanya literally said himself, I don't remember when he said it, but I think it was after he beat Pereira in the knockout, actually. He said, there is a possibility we'll fight again, and that's if Pereira goes up, claims that belt, and then I can challenge him for that belt. So
that was exactly what he said.
We know the promoter, the UFC, they're the best promoter in the world, and it's for a reason. People will be interested in the fight. I can't think of another time like, I guess Moreno. It would be only the third time they fought in the UFC, but it would be the fourth time that they fought overall. Sorry, no, the fifth time that they fought overall.
Right, if they fought again, right.
I mean, they have such a timeline. Did you see that? I didn't even know this at the time, but Alex Pereira was in the corner of Anderson Silva when Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I did see that. Right, when they fought.
I didn't know that
in Australia.
I didn't know. So they have such a storyline. Pereira, I think he wants that back. He's a competitor, and at 205, things get pretty interesting. And I don't know. I mean, Adesanya says he's not interested, but if the UFC throws a bag at him and he goes up and he can claim another belt, because at this point, it's everything that Adesanya does, Pereira does better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't beat Izzy loses to Strickland, the guy that Pereira knocked out.
Right, Blachowicz,
and couldn't get the second belt, and then he goes up and he gets the second belt. So Alex Pereira is the ultimate troll. But I think Plinio did a terrible job in the Octagon interview translating.
Yeah.
Because Pereira did this pretty in-depth speech, and when Plinio went back, he messed up a few things, and then he didn't even say Adesanya's name. So Joe Rogan I was like screaming at the time, you didn't say his name, it's Adesanya. And then Joe Rogan was like, you're talking about Adesanya? It's like, yeah, so.
This is whoa.
Let me tell you something about Andrew. This is my boy right here. You disrespect him, you're disrespecting me.
Inside fighting, shout out to Inside Fighting.